Hey everyone! Has your beloved chair ever broken at the armrest? Don't rush to throw it away or spend money calling a repairman. Today, I'm taking all DIYers on an epic journey, turning that worn-out chair into a masterpiece. With just a few household items, we'll fix the chair perfectly without spending a single dime. Let's make it happen. Alright, let's move on to removing the armrest. First, locate all the screws or bolts holding the armrest in place. Use the appropriate screwdriver or wrench to carefully unscrew them. Remember to keep all the screws in a small container so nothing gets lost. Gently lift the armrest away from the chair, making sure not to damage upholstery. Now the chair is ready for some serious DIY repair magic. So the armrest is broken into two separate pieces, and glue alone won't be enough to fix it. In this case, we'll need a stronger, more secure method to rebuild it. Let's start by temporarily holding it together with super glue. Make sure the broken surfaces are clean and dry. Any dust or dirt will reduce the glue's effectiveness. Apply a thin, even layer of super glue to one of the broken edges. Carefully press the pieces together, aligning them exactly as they were. Hold them firmly for a few minutes so the glue starts to set. Take 3 screws and carefully cut off their heads so they won't stick out. These will act as hidden pins to hold the broken pieces together from the inside. Those spiral threads on the screw will grip the plastic pieces tightly, acting like a built-in clamp from the inside. After cutting the screws, the next step is to use a butane torch to heat them. Gently heat each screw until it's hot enough to slightly melt the plastic where it will go in. Then carefully insert the screws into the glue joint. Pressing them to the 2 broken plastic pieces. The heat will soften the plastic just enough to allow the screws to fuse with it, creating a very strong, almost permanent bond. Be careful to heat them evenly and avoid overheating, so you don't warp or burn the plastic. This method makes the connection much sturdier than glue alone, essentially welding the 2 pieces together with the screws acting as internal reinforcements. Once the screw has fused the 2 plastic pieces together, the next step is to smooth out the joint using a soldering iron. Carefully run the heated tip of the soldering iron along the area around the screw. The heat will slightly melt the surrounding plastic, blending the joint and eliminating any gaps or rough edges. Move the iron slowly and evenly to avoid burning or deforming the plastic. This will make the repair look seamless, almost like the armrest was never broken, while keeping the internal reinforcement strong. Those screws now look really solid. They're holding the two plastic pieces together like a mini internal frame. Between the super glue, the threaded screws, and the slight melting from the butane torch, the armrest is now much stronger than it was originally. Not only do they reinforce the joint, but their threads also make it nearly impossible for the pieces to shift or come apart under normal use. This DIY fix is both sturdy and clever, giving your broken armrest a second life. Even though the armrest is now firmly held together, there may still be small gaps or visible seams where the pieces meet. The next step is to fill and smooth these gaps. First, carefully take the black powder from inside a used battery. Use a pair of pliers or a small hacksaw to carefully cut around the metal casing of the battery. Twist or peel the casing away to expose the inner contents. Inside, you'll see the black powder material. Gently scrape or tap out the black powder into a small container. To get the black powder from the battery core, you can carefully grind or sand down the carbon rod. Once you've collected the black powder from the battery, the next step is to mix in baking soda. Start by adding a small amount of baking soda to the black powder in a container. Use a toothpick, small spatula, or spoon to stir them together thoroughly until the mixture is uniform. The baking soda will add bulk and make the mixture thicker, giving it better structure to fill the gaps in the armrest. Be careful not to inhale it. Wear a mask if possible. The black powder from the battery acts like a natural tint. When mixed into your filler paste, it helps the repaired area blend with the darker tones of the plastic, making the joint much less noticeable. Lace a small piece of tape under the crack or gap of the armrest. This will act as a barrier and catch any excess mixture that might drip through. Slowly spoon or push the mixture into the crack. Press it gently so it fills every part of the gap. Once the filler paste is in place, add a few drops of super glue on top of the mixture. The glue will soak slightly into the paste, binding the black powder and baking soda together and hardening the whole repair. This step turns the soft filler into a solid, strong patch that reinforces the armrest. Applying the repair in multiple thin layers is much better than doing it all at once. Once all the layers have dried and fully cured, the armrest becomes extremely sturdy. After the repair is fully hardened, the armrest feels very sturdy, but the surface around the joint is still a bit uneven. To fix this, I use fine grit sandpaper to smooth it out. Starting with 200 to 400 grit, I gently rub the sandpaper over the repaired area. Following the natural contour of the armrest, I wipe away the dust frequently to check progress and ensure the bumps are leveling out. For an extra polished finish, I go over it one more time with 600 to 800 grit sandpaper. After sanding, the joint becomes smooth to the touch and nearly invisible, making the armrest look clean and well restored. Once the sanding is done, I take a small amount of WD-40 to wipe down the surface. This helps remove any remaining dust or fine particles from sanding and gives the repaired area a clean, slightly polished look. After all the repairs and finishing, the armrest is impressively solid. When pressed or leaned on, it doesn't wobble or flex like it did when it was broken. You can rest your arm on it, lift the chair slightly, or apply normal pressure without worrying about it breaking again. It's a repair that's not just cosmetic, but truly functional and reliable. With the armrest fully repaired and smooth, it's time to reattach it to the chair. And there you have it, From a broken, unusable armrest to a fully restored, sturdy, and seamless repair, this DIY method proves that with little creativity and some household materials, you don't need to throw anything away or spend money on professional help. The chair is now not only functional, but also looks neat and polished. It's a perfect example of turning a trash item into a practical, long-lasting solution, all with your own hands. This project shows that patience, clever techniques, and a bit of DIY spirit can work wonders.